All right, and we're live.
Hey
Roy,
guys,
it's been several weeks, man.
it has been, yeah, been busy. How about you? How you been?
I've been good. I have not been making as much content as I want. I was actually thinking about that today. I was like, I should put out a video today. I was like, I'll put it off. But you've
Yeah,
been killing it though. You've been putting out like 2 or 3 videos a day.
well, one a day consistently, and then I've been really busy. So some of those were like pre-recorded. I did like 4 or 5 in a day and just staggered them out
Yeah,
because I knew I'd be swamped. And then inevitably, there's some things that are like fascinating that comes out that I'm like, I have to cover this. I can't just be like, well, I'll wait, till next week or something. So um, yeah, a lot of interesting stuff.
yeah. Well, the plus side of us not having had a show in the past couple weeks is that we have a lot of things to talk about in this show, and I'm not sure exactly where we want to even start because it's all over the place with regards to the news. Um, where do you want to start, Roy?
Maybe we could talk about this Senate bill that has impact for both Enphase and also Tesla. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure my stream is up because okay, it is perfect.
Yeah. So Enphase was trading down like 25% at some point. It finished 24% down today. Uh, at the very, very open, it went as low as $33 per share.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
It Enphase is one here. I'll share my screen here and we'll go through because this has impact for both Enphase, Tesla, also on other energy plays too. Let me blow this up slightly. All right, so yeah, here we are, year to date. It is ugly. I talked about Enphase as one of those possible candidates for being removed from the S&P 500. At the time, it was either the lowest or the second lowest company as far as market cap size in the S&P 500 rather. You can
Mhm.
see the market cap right there, 4.58 billion. Do you remember what the market cap requirement is to get in?
Like almost 20 billion ish, 18 billion, something like that.
20.5. So we're looking at almost, 5 times the need for the market cap to get in. Now, that doesn't mean you're automatically kicked out, but it
Oh,
would not shock me if they do at some point. They're still profitable. A lot of their money, though, if you look at the PE, is I believe it's called safe harbor credits. So in essence, they are selling goods in advance before delivery, um, just to try to get some revenue going. They'll make it through this storm, but it is tough. Like you're in a hard place between interest rates still being very sticky, very high, a very static mortgage market, which is not good for solar because this is very much on the residential side. And then today you have this. And so Sawyer, I actually pulled up his post because I'm like, hey, we can pull up the actual Senate bill, but unless you like reading things like this, which it just causes my eye to bleed. I'm like, why do we make it look like this? I kind of get it, just so you can figure out whatever line you're talking about. But
yeah.
this is much easier. So there's a couple of things. We won't look at all of this, but there's a couple of things that really impact both Tesla and also Enphase and other energy bills too. So one is so this is basically a modified version of the House's Big Beautiful Bill, as Trump has called it. So a couple of things have changed. One is that they're changing it so that EV purchases, that tax credit, that's $7,500 in the United States, ends within 180 days after the bill is signed into law. Now, this needs to go back to the House. There might be other modifications. Who knows? But if this gets signed into law, 180 days is all the time you have. And we'll talk about this right here. So this is a little bit different. $4,000 tax credit for UZVs actually expires 90 days after passage. Leased vehicles actually are okay for a little while longer, and it's different than the housing credit. Uh, the main thing is, and I love that they're getting rid of this, and we'll talk about like impact to Enphase here in just a second.
Mhm.
In the House's bill, they made it so that if you were a very bad automaker and you were terrible at scaling, you would be rewarded because you had not sold 200,000 EVs. So, in other words, this punishes Tesla and a couple other automakers and favors everybody else. So, They're getting rid of that in this under the Senate. So I guess like before we pivot and talk about Enphase and the impact because it's a little bit further down, thoughts on this for Tesla? Is this does this hurt them over the short term, long term? Is there any silver lining out of this for you? Does it do nothing for the thesis?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if there is credits for automakers that haven't sold 200,000 EVs, then obviously that's going to benefit the smaller players as a way to get them more into the game, right? Because the end product is going to be cheaper for that consumer as a result of those credits, and presumably the market would decide. I think obviously this is something that helps Tesla if they're getting rid of that. It hurts newer entrants into the EV space, like the pure EV plays. It's also not really that big of a deal, I think, because 200,000 cars is not a lot in the grand scheme of things. Um, Especially considering like Tesla's production, like 200,000 cars is like a drop in the bucket for the US population, even the eligible population that would buy an EV. So, I mean, look, Elon's whole stance has been take away credits as long as you take away from everybody because he's confident that Tesla can win from a product perspective. And whether you believe that or not, like it's a different debate to say like does Tesla have sufficiently better software and features and products altogether to compete with other EVs, especially new entrants, especially like the ones that are coming out of China now. A lot of them have like, feature improvements on top of Tesla. Like that's a separate conversation, I think. But at least from what Elon has said, he's displayed confidence that they can compete on a level ground. And I think that's just what this is. Like, if you're going to help smaller players, and that's a very different story than if you're saying it's going away for everybody.
Yeah, and I prefer it be to be like this. This is still an aggressive thing that they're removing, but they're keeping and actually increasing some investment credits in energy, specifically to nuclear. Now, there's some other things like smaller changes, like registration fee and stuff that's going away. I think, and Doug asked this question, the 11-cent watt manufacturing incentive, which really does help Enphase because they're manufacturing domestically. I have not seen any information indicating that that is going away. I have not read the bill myself. I've not had the time. So do double check me on that. I could be wrong, but I've not heard that at all. And usually when you don't hear something like that, Enphase dropped dramatically though. So I mean, it's possible, but like really what this does on Tesla is it's going to be on one plus is it's going to drive demand forward. So there's going to be people like me right now. My wife and I. Well, we're literally in the middle of our 48-hour demo drive in the new refreshed Model Y.
Mm-hmm.
And it is fantastic. Like, you also get to try out the full self-driving, which is awesome. Because, we've tried it on our older vehicle, which has a hardware 3, 12.36, I think was the most recent version that we had. It is so much better than where it was. It gives me more confidence as an investor. Yes, I have a smaller position now, but I'm still an investor. But there's going to be a lot of people like me that are like, okay, I've got the $7,500 incentive. I'm still a student this year, still wrapping up the dissertation. Next year, that won't be the case, hopefully. And so that's $8,500 right there. I have $3,000 of other referrals, and I have a self referral. So I have all these. The self referral probably won't go away, and maybe not the student discount, but all the others will. It's like, dude, I have over $10,000 worth of reasons to buy a Tesla now. So we probably will put our order in the next day or two, maybe even tonight. So
That's exciting.
Yeah, my wife is pretty excited. There's a couple of conditions type things where I'm like, hey, we can't have 3 vehicles. We got to get rid of one of them. So the non-Tesla's out. She's like, well, let's. It's like, no. Look at what we're paying for insurance on this stupid vehicle that we don't love, that we don't like to drive, and we can just sell it. Let's have 2 Teslas. Let's call it good. So I've got to get her to agree to that first, and then we're good.
That sounds like a good compromise, yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of people like myself that see what Tesla has. They already know, and they're like, hey, I was thinking about buying a vehicle in a year or two. Let me just get this thing now. And there's people that don't qualify that are rich that'll buy it later, whatever. But I think once these, what's interesting too is like the used has been a little bit of a drag on Tesla, just because the used Tesla vehicles are just they're cheap. Like, you guys, look at it in your area if you're looking for a good used vehicle. It's probably from a rental like Hertz, but you can get a Tesla for like 21,000 if you qualify for the EV tax incentive. It's 2 years old. It has like 50 or 60,000 miles on it. It's in very, very good shape. Some aspects of it, the drivetrain, not drivetrain, that's the wrong word, are still under warranty. So, like, that's compelling. That's an easy gateway into Tesla's ecosystem. But when you're looking at that versus like a brand new one, it's like, well, it's so much cheaper. So I think that there will be, especially as they continue to ramp the Model Y, and the rear wheel drive really is, they're
Mhm.
going to sell a lot of these cars. But when we enter whatever the phase out period is, that's really quarter 1 next year. If this bill passes this way, there's going to be a significant drag on Tesla. Like, we saw quarter 1 be very weak for deliveries for Tesla. It's going to be really bad. Now, we know that Tesla is more than just a car company. The nice thing about this is, as far as energy storage, that's essentially untouched. And so Tesla is not really impacted in that. There's actually a huge need for that. They start phasing out down to 75% of the value in 2034. So that's a long ways out. That's the way it was before. Doesn't really hurt Tesla there. As far as Enphase, one other piece here.
So let me ask you this, Roy, before we jump onto the end phase, and I'll throw up your screen in just a second. But if you did have a subsidy for one of these EVs that didn't have 200,000 sales in the US, would that sway your? I mean, it depends on how big the subsidy is, but would that sway your decision?
If we had not actually been in a Tesla enough to just see the sheer differentiation, like, basically, if we were where we were at like 3 years ago, where I was like, hey, I think an EV is going to be really good for us, economical and everything, and we're looking at Tesla, and the Tesla is like $15,000 more.
Hmm.
Yes, it would absolutely. I'd be like, oh yeah, Chevy Bolt or whatever that terrible EV is, or Fisker Ocean. Oh yeah, give me one of those. Those are not the best choices at all. Like, one company is like out of business. Don't buy vehicles like that. Rivian's would have been out of my price range at that point anyway. But yeah, the Tesla itself, like at that point, yes. Now I'm sure that there's other fine EVs out there. Like you said, Rivians are more expensive. I think that they're good cars, but I'd still just rather own a Tesla. Like, it's you have to get into it, demo drive it, check it out. I don't think there's any EV car bang for the buck that competes with them at all. I don't think it's close.
Hmm.
But that price, like, if there's like a $10,000 difference in price, there's going to be some that are just scared off by that sticker price, and rightfully so. They'll be like, hey, it's not my budget. And I'm fine with all the incentives going away. It still hurts Tesla. I just don't like it when they pick and choose favorites. And that's really how this bill passed initially under the Biden administration. They made it and tweaked some things just so Tesla wouldn't qualify. A big part of that qualification was they needed to drop the price, and they did massively, so they qualified. And so, yeah, it's not going to kill Tesla, but it will be a significant drag on them.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, here is what really hurts Enphase right here. Cuts the 48E investment tax credit for solar and wind energy projects, which cover 30% of the installed system cost. So this isn't saying that the credit goes up to 60%, but instead 60% of the value as it exists right now is actually reduced by the end of 2026, which is a pretty quick ramp. So it as it says here, Sawyer says, it significantly shortens the phase out period. Phase out period, I believe, before was 2030, 32, something like that. It was a ways out. So yeah, it's a big drag for Enphase, big drag on basically every single solar stock. You can look at Solar Edge, huge hit there too, 33% down. FSLR, I
Year
think,
too.
for solar, yeah, down 17%. Yeah,
Wow.
it's and Tesla didn't see near the drag because they are impacted a little bit from this, and especially in the EV tax credit side. Their energy, most of their energy is really about that energy storage, and it's really not impacted by this. So, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I sold Tesla covered calls yesterday, and I'm pretty glad I did. I did a whole bunch of defensive moves actually yesterday because of geopolitics more than anything. But this, like, I woke up and I saw Enphase, and I was like, I have a good
Yeah.
friend who's in Enphase, and I first thing I did was ask him if he's still holding or not. Unfortunately, he still is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, long term, they're absolutely going to be fine. Like, this is a company, solar is very cyclical anyway. And when you interject politics into it, it becomes even more so. But right now, like, literally everything that can go wrong has as it relates to energy. So, I was invested in Enphase for like a couple of months. And
Hmm.
when PayPal just crashed from 90 something down to, low 60s, high 50s, I looked at that position and I looked at Upsellera, which was my only Canadian position, by the way. And
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, these are both wait and see plays. I know for sure Enphase will be fine at some point in the future, but I have no sense of when that is. That could be, 6 months from there, or more likely years. Uh,
Yeah, it's cyclical.
Upsellera, same thing. It's a biotech, not profitable. They have some really interesting, really compelling technology, but it's still years away. And then PayPal, I was like, well, PayPal has some intentional headwinds because they're shifting their margin strategy for 2 more quarters.
Yep.
And after that, they again reaccelerate. Bottom line is already accelerating a lot. They have all these fascinating, amazing projects and products coming out. I'm like, okay, PayPal is a wait and see play that I know what the timetable looks like. Now the stock can, still be stupid and just stay flat even after those 6 months. But I'm like, I would rather lose money in PayPal where I have a higher conviction in than Enphase and Upsellera. And that worked out well. I think I'd actually be up on Upsellera right now versus PayPal. I don't know where it's at today. Yeah, it had a massive rise late last week, but the Enphase has just gotten crushed. And it makes sense in investing, guys, when the situation changes, and sometimes that's even just a stock price and everything is fine, to concentrate into your core convictions. So, uh, like, I don't know. If you're very strongly convicted by Tesla and Tesla drops to like 120 and you see nothing has really changed with your thesis, it's probably time to sell some other positions that you have less concentration or less conviction in and concentrate more in those that you have a deep conviction in.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, look, I think it's interesting to have this conversation, right? Because we both recognize Enphase to be cyclical. And I think what the market was telling us today was how highly dependent that all of these solar companies are on subsidies, on credits, on government assistance. And that's been a massive critique that they've had on Tesla for the longest time. Like, it would not be anywhere near where it is without energy credits. Largely, it's been debunked, but there's still people out there who attribute all of Tesla's gains and all of their success to energy credits and all of these government subsidies that they supposedly had at one point in time, right? And I think, like, to see your stock fall 25%, or in the case of Solar Edge, over 30%, because the government is no longer, subsidizing, it's just wild to see. Because to me, the max that Enphase can ever be is really a swing on the turnaround to try to scalp, a few bucks here and there over the course of a 6 month period, because it doesn't speak to a strong moat of that business, even though there's strong tailwinds on a multi-year trajectory. And even though Enphase might be the leader in that space, to have it have such uneven ground, it's like, it's so risky, right? Because the government can come. It's like pharmaceutical companies, right? Like, they don't get FDA clearance, and all of a sudden their stock value falls 80%, and they're like cut in half, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, sure, maybe you might say, okay, well, this space is growing clearly. It has tailwinds. Enphase is the biggest one in the space, and I want to invest in Enphase. But I don't think like, at least for me, it's not that point yet, because they're still so sensitive to anything that the government might do, which to me says, okay, price sensitivity is very high here for the consumer, and a subsidy can sway a consumer's decision on whether they do want solar or not, which means that either they're not as well accustomed to what solar is and provides in their lifestyle, they see it as a discretionary luxury purchase, or they don't have in the eyes of the consumer, it doesn't provide enough value for them to buy it regardless of the subsidy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and within phase, I'll probably get back in. Like, I actually even sold cash secured puts today because I'm like, if it goes to 30, like whatever, like it can keep going lower. That's fine. The premiums were really juicy, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it makes sense at this point. It's not a company that's just going away. I might have to hold it for a long time, and I'm okay with it being at that strike price. But yeah, usually I don't even do that. I usually wait a couple of days after it's fallen. But
Did you write monthlies?
no, just Friday. So and actually tomorrow, no, it's either
Tomorrow,
Wednesday or Thursday.
right?
No. So there's one fewer trading days this week.
Oh,
Juneteenth, which is Thursday, is not a trading holiday here in the United States. So there's just 2 days left in the options chain. So I'm like, hey, let me just go ahead and do this. By the way, guys, we will take your questions at the end here. So be sure to put them here. Are we ready for World War III? Yes. No. Just
I'm sure we'll address that when the questions period comes.
yes. Now, as far as Enphase, I do think that I'll probably get back in at some point this year. This would perhaps even be the time, but I have the cash that I have right there is very purposeful. Like basically, we have a certain level of debt that we're comfortable with, especially getting the new Tesla at the 1.99% APR. We want to keep it at that level, so I'll need to sell some stock, including some Palantir, and take some gains, and just so we stay at the same debt level. I'm fine with
Really?
1.99%. I just
You want to
yeah.
sell Palantir at like $140? Like it's kind
Yeah,
of
I know it's
undervalued at these levels, man. Like
it's pretty undervalued. It's kind of cheap.
kind
You
of
know, you
crazy.
look at the multiple, and it's like only 140
Yeah.
something PE. I'm sure it's higher. I don't know. Like Palantir is just it has such a strong but like I'm fine taking some gains off of that. Like it's been so good. Like I've had better than a 10x just on the shares in like 2 years, which is
Hmm.
insane. And I think long term there's a lot more. But yeah, do you? Oh
I
yeah, we're flipped. Maybe
exactly.
that's his issue. Yeah, this is my new mansion, by the way. So not really. It's
Yeah.
my workplace. So just looks better with an actual. It's my phone as a camera, but yeah, it's real, not a fake background.
Yeah, man. The phone cameras are a life hack. That's what I have. I've been using my phone for like the past 4 years of doing YouTube.
Yeah.
I actually sold out of some stock as well yesterday. Well,
Oh yeah.
actually, no, that's a lie. I sold half of my hymns leaps position because it was up like 200% plus, and I was like, okay, well, we might have some pullbacks in the macro. And I did last time I did it, hymns fell from because we crossed 60, and I sold some leaps. I was just trimming, and then the FDA news came out, and then the stock got killed to like $30, and then I just bought
Mm.
those leaps back, and I bought them even heavier. And so I'm just doing the same exercise. And if it goes to 100, I still have plenty of exposure. And if it goes back to 30, then great. Like I'll take extra shares or extra leaps. Um,
Yes. um, it's yeah. I love that about puts. Like if you're comfortable at a certain price,
mhm.
and you're like, I wish it was a little bit lower. Write the put if you have the cash. Situation can change, but usually that's a winning play. You either get the shares or you get the money. Like, what's not to love?
Yeah.
Uh, so I want to share with you a little bit about PayPal, and I'm reticent
Sure.
to just because I love that draft idea, that stock draft, and I'm afraid
Yes.
if I hype this up,
Okay.
you might like take PayPal in like the fourth round or third round, like just before I do, and I'll be very annoyed.
I'll take it in the
So
first round just to have it as a bargaining chip. Just play
if
the
you take
long.
in the first round, that's okay. I'm fine with that. Like,
Okay, we need
uh,
to actually do this draft. I messaged Chris, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to do it. I just need to find a time in his schedule."
oh
Um,
yes,
and then we have to figure out who the fourth person is. Whether
couch
it's
investor Neil would be really good. He's in Europe, so we'll have to figure out a time. But I
Did you
think he'd
message
be on
him,
board.
or do you want me to?
I can. I know. What have you had interaction with him before?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Go. You can go and do it. Uh, you got nothing else to do, right?
I'm doing it right now.
All right, cool. Yeah, he is awesome. I think a four man is just fine. Like Brad Freeman would be great or something like that too. But It's harder with schedules, and it would take a lot longer too. So I think just 4 of us is okay. But yeah, as far as PayPal, uh, there's an advertising event that is in Cannes, France, that's coming up, and so they've been doing a lot of press releases almost every single day related to advertising. And what I want to show you is just a couple of things.
Sure.
And you might think, oh, advertising boring, but it's very profitable. And so first, I want to show you free cash flow. This is free cash flow for PayPal. You can see, it realistically, this is in the red, free cash flow. You can see it was basically flat and even trending down, and this is despite them divesting from a product until Alex Chris came on the scene and it made this massive leap. Now, you would not know that from the stock, and this is not because of any one-time stuff, but nevertheless, they are doing well as far as free cash flow. It can be lumpy, and it's usually better in Q4 anyway. But yeah, they're projecting for $6 billion, could be more as well, free cash flow this year. And why I'm bringing that up is advertising is very lucrative. It's very specific, very high margin. Now, the way PayPal is doing it is a little bit different. It's called transaction graph. But basically, your ads need to convert, and if they don't, you don't have to pay PayPal. So perhaps it'll be a little bit less or a little bit more. We don't really know until they actually get through and they release this. But some of the things that they mentioned, they said storefront ads. So they've been talking about this for a while. Will debut in the summer in the United States, actually. So that's coming up quite soon. And there's a lot of just different type of things that they're talking about. So this is one of those, I believe this is Dr. Mark Grather. No, this is actually from the article. The transaction graph has been in beta. This is what they're calling their advertising product. They call it that basically because you can look even real time at all kinds of different data that people, that PayPal has, unless you've opted out of their personalization specifically. And so what people bought from where, what their color preferences are, what their size preferences are, what other customers that are in the same profile bought from there, when they last bought things, what they like to do, whether it's pay in four, whether they like to just use PayPal branded, Venmo, whatever it is. They're leveraging that for their buy button certainly, but also with their advertising. And so they've been using it already with Target, Best Buy, Verizon, and that's kind of like a pilot phase program. And a lot of those companies make a lot of sense too. But as they ramp up, like there's a whole bunch of stuff that I won't get into the nitty gritty necessarily. This is a really good interview, by the way, if somebody's looking for a little bit more information. Google or search for this. But Dr. Mark Grather is the guy that's behind the advertising experience for PayPal. And they asked him in this episode, I love that they asked him this, and the way he answered it too, is like, okay, they had him previously on here. Actually, one step back. Do you know who Mark Grather is?
No.
Okay. Uber. You familiar with Uber? Heard of them before?
Yeah.
They did not have advertising at all. The head of Uber advertising, which got over $1 billion annual run rate in, I think it was like 18 months. It might actually have been a little bit less. Dr. Mark Grather, this guy right here. Amazon. You've heard of Amazon before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, briefly.
Amazon, when they first launched the advertising platform, and people were skeptical. They didn't know if it would work or how well it worked. They thought it might be okay. Dr. Mark Grather was actually there involved in the team. He was actually the one that landed their first client for Amazon. And so he was not the lead of that, but he helped build out Amazon's advertising, Uber's advertising. These are leaders in the advertising space. So he's an incredible hire, an incredible guy, like the right man for this job. But even more importantly, they asked him and they said, okay, so will you tell us, like, as far as like what you guys are aiming for as far as annual run rate and size? And he says, well, they don't disclose those internal metrics publicly, or at least they haven't yet. But he said this: you could imagine, based on the successes I had in the past, what those internal goals are. So, like, we know what they did at Amazon. We know what they did at Uber. This is a high margin product. And so we go back here again to the cash flow. Is advertising significant for PayPal? Yes. I think that there is a pretty easy scenario. It might take a little bit longer just because it is a little bit different offering than Uber to get to that $1 billion annual run rate. How much of this is priced into PayPal? Well, look at the stock price action, look at the multiples, and tell me. Nothing. Nothing at all. And if this was the only thing that PayPal was doing as far as all their new uh, innovations, technology, things that they're building that they have not had before. They weren't doing any model context program stuff, agentic commerce, personalization. They weren't doing anything with stablecoin. They weren't rolling out massive omni-channel stuff in Germany, which is ramping up like at a ridiculous rate. And then I would still be bullish on them just because this is such a lucrative field for PayPal to enter into. And it's at the same time as AI agents and LLMs are disrupting the traditional way of advertising. This is one of those areas that's not disrupted. And so, as advertisers are looking for really good ROI, they can find it here. And the nice thing is, they made it so easy for people to actually do this because you don't have to worry and be like, okay, well, what if this campaign doesn't pay off? If it doesn't pay off and you don't get clicks, you don't get actual sales, because they don't charge based on clicks, you pay $0.
I mean, don't you think AI will disrupt ads at some point or another? Like,
Yes.
systematically or programmatically create ads, measure ads, and derive the analytics into insights from ads that doesn't require the special expertise of any particular name in the space, that they've digested down all of the learnings, abstracted them into an AI system, and having that AI system now productize everything across the board for ads, not just in PayPal, but I'm saying everywhere. Like, it seems like a pretty easy domino to fall next.
So that's several years away. What's happening right now is
Years.
disruption as far as yes. Um, so we'll start there, and then we'll talk about what's happening more immediately that impacts other forms of advertising. So in-store advertising, by the way, is going to be fine for a long time. That's not really PayPal. They do have in-app advertising, but that's not like the most interesting part of what PayPal is doing. So what is going to happen? Well, let's start with right now. Right now, a large amount of the volume on the web is shifting towards LLMs. LLMs are doing a lot of the searches. They'll provide you the links, but you are not actually, your eyeballs are not seeing the ads right there. And so it's kind of like a back end that's accessed through APIs, agent to agent, model context protocol, those sort of things. And so it's circumventing the natural advertising model that the entire web has been built around for the last 20 years. It's one of the reasons why I'm neutral in Google, because they're doing a whole lot of things right, but they've benefited from this existing model for multiple decades. And I don't see that they're doing anything to really shift and capture that new advertising format. Like their model is being disrupted. They're building out Gemini. They're doing some certain things, but I don't know if that's monetizable in the way that advertising was. And they're certainly not going to get 90% and just dominate like they did with search. So that's a challenge, and that's only going to ramp as LLMs continue to get better and better, and especially when agentic commerce comes into the picture. It'll start slowly, kind of with a trickle, but then it'll be all at once. So this is over like the next 12 months. I think you'll see a lot of disruption with this. So the Trade Desk is one of those that perhaps is vulnerable. Google advertising is vulnerable. Meta might actually be okay. App 11 should be just fine because it's mobile gaming advertising. That's not going to go away. Now, what's happening beyond that, you're talking about AI leveraging data to be able to make better ads that are more targeted, more personalized. But AI is only as good as the data that you feed it. And that's one of those just very strong advantages that PayPal has. You know, there's other companies as well that have some advantages too as far as scale. Google has more scale as far as data, but they don't have the intimate level of details because PayPal deals with both merchants and also consumers. They have over 435 million active users and merchants built in. It's a worldwide thing as well. And they have a whole bunch of inactives as well. They're leveraging that for a lot of different products, including advertising. So it's very, very personalized. It's not a static form of advertising. So I think that they're going to be okay there. One of the areas where they're leveraging advertising is probably not going to be disrupted at all. And I don't get this. I've also not seen it yet, and I don't know why they've been slower in rolling this out. I have questions on that as a shareholder, frankly. But it's called Smart Receipts. So the idea is, for some reason, 40% of people that buy something from PayPal, they get emailed a receipt and they click on it. I don't know why. I don't click on PayPal receipts. I think that that's dumb. But keep clicking on it because all of a sudden you're going to be fed ads that are very specific and targeted for you that give you like a cashback offer or recommends another product here. And all you have to do is just one click it if you have that set up and purchase it. Now, I've not seen these personally. I don't know why they've been slow at rolling this out, but I think it's has to do with that they're wanting to roll all of this ad platform out basically together. So that should be happening fairly soon. But there's still going to be advertisers that want to advertise. They're going to look for new vectors to be able to do that, especially fields and areas that are not disrupted. And I think that they'll find this transaction graph that is based even more so on personalized data that's very broad scale as well, that only charges if it actually converts, a lot more compelling than the existing model that's being disrupted.
Yeah, I mean, I think somebody asked, at what price would I buy PayPal? Are you still actively buying PayPal, or are you fully built out from your position sizing?
I did 2 weeks ago. I've not been buying much recently. I've been going the other direction and taking some profits off the table just in preparation for this purchase.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm comfortable buying it here. There's a little bit more room I have to buy PayPal, especially if I treat it as a swing. But I really do think more of it as a long term hold than a swing. So I'll buy a little bit here and there. I don't think it's expensive to buy here at all, especially at like 70 and some change. But especially with what they're launching, like this is a company that still very much, I think, hits an all-time high by 2030, and that may not excite some people, but I mean, you look at the all-time high, that's like a 4.5 x from here in 5 years. I will take that every time, and it feels like at worst, PayPal is just going to be an opportunity cost. It has been so far. It absolutely has been, but you only know that in hindsight. I do think over the next 2 quarters, they're not going to be. Well, I'll take that back. I think the quarters will be better than expected. I don't know that the market really gets excited until some of these new revenue vectors really start producing, and that's quarter 3, honestly. With the omni-channel stuff that they're doing in Germany, Germany like is saturated with PayPal, but they've done nothing with in-store, and they've ramped up in-store now. A little bit of that hits quarter 2. But there's a massive, massive wave that's going to hit in quarter 3 with international revenue at the same time as we have basically a neutral dollar, which has not happened in a long time. PayPal gets like 40 something percent of the revenue internationally. So, it's like the nice thing about the price here. If PayPal is trading at 140, I'd be like, no, I'm not buying it. You know, I'll be glad to hold it, let them perform. They'll get to that all time high, but I'd find other plays more compelling. But the stock price has basically de-risked itself here. Like the risk is very minimal.
I also don't understand, or don't agree with a lot of people, their arguments around opportunity cost, because it depends on what you're comparing it to. It's not like it's opportunity cost compare, like you're cherry picking the top performers in the market over a 12-month or 24-month period in hindsight, and you're saying, well, PayPal is opportunity cost. Well, if you bought the S&P 500 and you bought PayPal at 15 and it's today at 70, or you bought SoFi at 6 and it's today at 13, you're not really saying anything about opportunity cost. But yeah, it's opportunity cost if you compare it to like 5 stocks that have like shot up. But, you can't really look at it that way. And ultimately, I think everybody's running their own race, right? So I don't necessarily like, I don't know. I was in PayPal. I sold PayPal, made a good little profit. Nothing like to cry home about. I'm not against buying back into PayPal, but it's not, I think, a position that I want to make as like a core.
Yeah.
I'd probably rank it higher than Enphase in my stock rankings in
Yeah.
terms of like my likelihood to buy, but it would be under everything else that I hold.
Yeah. It's and it's one of those where I'm like, I'm not thinking that PayPal will probably be my top performer over 5 years, but it's a safe play with a lot of upside. Yeah, I mean, like if it only goes up a double in 3 years, like I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
You don't have to hit a grand slam every single time. Let me show you just one other little piece here, and then we'll move on from PayPal. This will be quick. This is a little bit dated. I've not looked up, as of the last 3 days, but App Store rankings in Germany, they've opened up the NFC. They're really pushing omnichannel. PayPal is number 1 in finance, and
Mhm.
it's number 17 overall. It varies between like number 14 down to like number 18 of overall apps like in the entire store.
Hmm.
What's really interesting is, have you heard of Wero?
No.
Or Wero rather? Wero is Europe's attempt to do something like PAX, which is a payment initiative for cross border within Europe itself, for remittances as well. Not the highest ratings, and it's number 83 in finance. It's a free app. This was billed last year as a PayPal killer.
Mm.
Yeah, when it's number 83 in finance versus number one PayPal, it doesn't have much to fear. Now it is doing very well in France, but in Germany, like it's a nothing burger, and that's where PayPal is very, very strong.
Right.
So they like near term they have that. They have the neutral dollar. They have very low expectations, and they do have the intentional headwinds from the Braintree margin shift. And then long term, like over beyond 2 quarters out, they have a whole lot of ventures like advertising, which zero is baked into guidance. Now we do see like their investor day that has a 5 year guidance. They have stuff baked into that, but it's clear line of sight on what they're guiding for. Like Alex Chris and his team guide very conservatively ever since that moment when they said shock the world. But I really think that they will shock the world because people have written off PayPal as a dying dinosaur that's doing nothing. And then we see like the two biggest vectors as it relates to finance this year being stablecoin, which PayPal was early on. They launched in August 2023. They've not done as much with it as I wish they were. Alex Chris was very new. It actually was launched before he came on board. And they're very early with model context protocol and agentic commerce as well. So, like they get it. They're heading in the right direction. It does take time, and I'm comfortable having a wait and see play like this PayPal versus the end phase that we talked about. So.
Yeah. Tanner finally finished his own stream, I think. And no, you're not too late for the hymns convo. I think we're gonna go into that
Take it away.
at some point. Yeah. So I think Nate's traveling, so we're not doing the hymns weekly this week because there's just not enough content for the full a full hour. Even though Elijah wants to give me crap about why I sold hymns, more specifically, why I locked in gains on half of my leaps that I bought in the freaking $15 to $20 range that I'm like up 250% on. I need capital, man. Like if the market continues to fall like it fell today, then I'm gonna enter pretty heavily on hymns or other names with that money. And I still have half the position, but hymns does have a catalyst coming up tomorrow. Hymns does have a catalyst coming up tomorrow, which is a new product announcement. Have you been seeing anything about this, Roy?
Actually, the first I saw it was from your message to me, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Today's been a busy day, so what do you think? This isn't
Yeah.
testosterone; it's a her
No.
product.
Yeah. So let
So
me throw up the screen here. So hers posted this yesterday or 2 days ago. Get a taste of something new, apple flavor, the hers brand, and then they also posted this yesterday saying, or saying up close and personal, get up close and personal with something new. This looks like a gummy to me, apple flavored, something like that, a gummy for the hers product. I mean, it could be a whole bunch of stuff, but yeah, it's definitely a new product that's coming out. So we're going to be looking forward to what that is coming out tomorrow. I don't know
and
if it's going to move the needle, but I think they're definitely building up anticipation the right way.
and hers is doing really well. Like that's slept on. Like people still think of it's just hymns, and the full name is Hymns and Hers. There's a lot of products that they're releasing out there, and I think it's actually stickier. Or it tends to be a lot of those products for females. Of course, they have the recent international expansion. What I'm most excited about hymns though is like the CTO coming on board. Seeing it usually takes a quarter or two for them to figure out where they're at internally, see what the vision is, and get things ready as far as preparation before you just announce something. So, but I think that we're going to see a lot of very innovative approaches beyond what we've seen from HIMS. And at the same time, this is a battleground stock, so you see it both ways. This was in Sherwood Media, it's Robinhood's newsletter. Designer drugs, the controversial rise of Frankenpills. You heard that term before? I
No,
love
it's
it.
a Kim's background though.
Yeah, no, it's about Hims and Roe and others, but it's really really specific on Hims.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, like battleground stock. But as far as the stock price action itself, what have you made of that, Tevis?
Look, I think from a technical perspective, I think it's beautiful. I think I still stick to my prediction that we're going to reach all-time highs this year in 2025, and we're going to hit $100 this year in 2025. I firmly believe that. I was saying that when this was at $35. Go back, look at the timestamps. I'm saying that when it's at $60, and my conviction couldn't, be higher. Planning around that with leaps is a whole different story. And
Yeah.
I see Elijah here in the comments. Like, I'm not 19 anymore where I can just buy and hold my options and let them expire, because in the short term, over weeks, macro can drive this thing. It is a battleground stock. It can just as easily go down as it can go up. We've seen that before in HIMS literally 2 months ago when this thing went from $70 down to $25 in a matter of 3 weeks. And capital is absolutely your best friend when you're in a downturn like that, because if there's one thing that's easy to blow, it's money. When you're in a downturn, like, it's so easy to just deplete all of your dry powder on day 2 or day 3 of a downturn, and all of a sudden you have a 2-week downturn and you're screwed.
Yeah.
So
And you have to, like, if you're getting in options and you're doing leaps, you need to be very disciplined in taking gains. Stock, you can sit on your, even something as volatile as HIMS, but you can sit on your hands and just wait. You have time on your side. Leaps, not necessarily. And so I commend you for what you're doing. Yeah, I love this consolidation. I mean, we're here May 13th, and it is technically slightly down from May 13th to June 17th, a month later. But if
yeah,
you told me at the time, like, hey, we're not gonna, go much higher, but we'll be at almost $60, I'll be like, hey, that's amazing. It's beautiful consolidation. What
yeah,
it does is it means it's very unlikely we're gonna have this type of moment where, we run up to 68, 74, and then we just crater to the 30s and even
yeah,
the 20s. So
yeah.
can it go down further? It absolutely can. It's a very volatile stock. So
it's it's
it's
building
amazing.
it's building a very solid base up
Exactly.
there, and it's increasing in the 50s. Not only is it holding the 50s, but it's increasing in the 50s. And I think this point is important. Short percentage is still high. We're still 33, 32% short interest. So I mean, the fact that it's increasing in the 50s, like, it still could have one of those sugar rush moments like we saw last time when it went up to 70. But again, it has to be backed by solid fundamentals, and HIMS is showing solid fundamentals right now. I'm gonna throw the invite, if Tanner or Matt or TJ or whoever wants to jump on. I'm gonna throw the link in the chat, and you guys can jump on board. But yeah, I would rather, and keep in mind that a lot of the leaps that I bought has been with premium money from selling other cash secured puts or covered calls back when HIMS was in the teens in August and in September when Roy and I were both building our position. So the ROI on some of that is just absolutely staggering to see. Um, but yeah, I do think that we will see some type of a downturn, or at least a pullback, as tensions escalate, and that has the potential to drag everything down, not just HIMS. And I think there's going to be opportunities there, like Enph, for example, 25% on just some random news that came out today with regards to a bill. So those opportunities, once they present themselves, are going to be very lucrative. I own a lot of HIMS. It's my third largest position. I own a lot of shares in addition to those leaps. So I'm perfectly fine with it. And yeah,
All right. Do we want to take? Oh,
look at this guy.
What's up?
Hey,
Dude, there's nothing better than coming into the stream and trying to make you guys laugh. Just take you off course just a little bit. Have some fun.
Look at this guy.
What's
TJ?
up?
TJ.
EJ.
Full-
Oh,
Well, be safe, TJ.
Well,
Yeah, we've not heard. I do see some questions. Maybe we'll take some questions too. And Tanner, if you have any thoughts about anything that we covered so far today, that's fine. But we've not heard how much they paid Zava yet. If it's a small deal, sometimes we don't hear that for a while, or sometimes even not at all. And I think it's probably a large enough deal that they do release it. I think that they need to. They should definitely for shareholders. But yeah, we'll see. Like, how good that deal is does depend on how much they paid. Because like anything, including stocks, there is a price to pay that's too much.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's going to be a next quarter thing. Will it be next quarter? Like, will they legally be forced to say it in the next quarter, or is 2 quarters from now? It depends on when the closing date was.
Yeah, it depends on when the closing date is, and if it's really small, which I don't expect based on the size of that company, they don't have to disclose. Like, there's still some companies where I was researching like some acquisitions from Robinhood,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't know how much they paid for some of these. So
I mean, we're going to see it in their cash balance because they paid all cash for it, right? So,
yeah, that's true. You can get close. So
TJ, I'm just going to pull you down, and then when I see the video come back, I'll throw you back up just as you get your stuff sorted. Oh, there he is. Oh, no.
he doesn't like the spotlight. I can hear him though.
Oh, is he here?
TJ?
I can hear y'all. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Your audio is good.
Okay, sorry, I'm driving.
So you made a play for Enph, didn't you, TJ? What did you think of the fall, and what are you doing about it?
I rolled down my short calls because they're obviously not at any risk, and I'm pretty excited about Enphase at 40. I'm more excited about it at like 30, but I would have to manage the short put probably 4 to 6 months to be able to get it to the 30 range. But I just don't think it's going to drop that low. I think that it's going to find a bottom here at 33, 34 bucks. And I think 3 to 5 years from now, I'm going to be hoping that I held on to the shares longer than just a swing trade. But I don't know, man. I liked it at 140, so you can imagine that I like it a lot more down over here under 40 bucks.
That's fair.
Yeah, yeah, it's just tough because it's so cyclical, and I don't know when the cycle changes. But yeah, I sold some puts today, just for 200 shares. It's not like a huge thing, but
Yeah. Well, I just
At 30
look at the first thing I always look at when something like this happens is fundamentally, mathematically, financially, can this company go out of business? And the answer that I come to is no, pretty quickly. And the company knows how to make money. It's resilient. It's got good leadership. I think that solar is a player and it's here to stay. But it's going to need the right administration, right? It's like SoFi. You're going to need that, what you call it, the confluence. You're going to need all of the things falling in place at the right time. And I think that that'll happen for Enphase. When? My best guess is probably 2027, 2028. So this is going to be a tough road to hold for a lot of people. There's probably going to be a lot easier places to make money. But along the way, I am thinking I'm going to make a shitload of premiums, guys.
that's a nice thing about your strategy is you can do that while the stock price does nothing. So
Yeah. I made a lot of money on SoFi off premiums. I mean, granted, I made a lot of money off Leaps last year, but mostly the money that I've made on SoFi has been premiums. And as long as the volatility is there, and with this administration, one thing you can count on is volatility. So.
It's so weird, TJ. I was thinking of you the other day because yesterday I sold some of those leaps on HIMS, and then I wrote a whole shit ton of covered calls, like some really aggressive ones actually, like on SoFi, on Tesla, and expecting a downturn. I closed some of my cash secured puts. I wrote covered calls, and I sold some leaps to gather some capital. And then today we had a big red day, and I was like, oh man, like I'm actually pretty glad that it's a red day because I get to redeploy capital. It's kind of cool. Tanner just got into selling options as well now.
I'm making premiums now.
Exactly. It's fun.
I follow Tanner and Tevis and all of you guys, and I gotta say, dude, I'm like super proud of you guys because I went on y'all's channels a couple of years ago and kind of touted my little strategy, and Tanner was taking those mental notes. I knew Tevis was in because Tevis is not a good poker player.
Yeah.
he was showing
Beat
he
them.
was showing that he was going to do it, and Tanner was like having a real good poker face. But I was like, once he wraps his mind around this thing, you guys will be so much better wheelers than I ever would be. So I'm just like super happy and proud of you guys because once you really, really understand the power of premiums and how it can be a magical eraser for you, because you don't have to be like, oh, I'm going to try to pick the bottom and I'm going to try to pick the top. I'm like, well, I could just make 2 to 3% on my portfolio month after month on some of these volatile stocks. It's pretty crazy. And it
So for
makes
right
it,
now,
go ahead.
I'm gonna write some more covered calls on Nvidia. I mean, we could even do it live if we want to. Do I do it today or do I wait for after
You
tomorrow's?
should have done it yesterday because that you do it on a green day.
No,
You
I'm
probably
aware,
can't
but
because the market's closed for options.
yeah,
unless-
you're so true. It's 7 o'clock. But should I do it tomorrow or should I wait for after FOMC?
So if you want to maximize the premiums and you're not super afraid of a binary event like the FOMC, the premiums are always going to be better prior to the binary event.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
But then after you have the answers to the test, right? The binary event is over, then you can write the covered calls and you're not guessing anymore because you have the answers to the test. That being said, it stands to reason that the premiums are going to be lower as well because the IV is going to contract. So whenever you're trying to sell premium, you want to do it during the volatility expansion. Whenever you're trying to buy leaps, you want to do it after the IV contraction. So because you can make money just playing the expansion contraction game, right? That's what a lot of more sophisticated wheelers do. They're not even playing the price movement; they're just playing the IV. And there's layers to the game, man. But you guys will do awesome. You guys will do awesome. I got to run. I just wanted to stop in and say hi and tell Tevez to hit me back. I've called him twice and he hasn't returned my phone call. So,
Dude, I do that to everyone. Tanner will tell you. He also called me the other day, and I'm just in meetings all day, man. I can't. I'm not retired like you are, TJ. I can't live that life.
I'm gonna have to start calling Roy because I know Roy will call me back.
That's right.
Travis never calls
together.
me back.
Much love to all of you guys. I'll keep following, and when I have time, man, I'll definitely hop on if you guys invite.
Thanks,
Sounds
TJ.
good.
Appreciate
Good to see you, TJ, or hear from you at
Appreciate
least.
you guys. Roy, keep up the good work on Sundays, my man. You know what I'm talking about. I follow.
All right. Appreciate you, man.
Take care. Bye bye.
See you, buddy. All right. Tanner, did that answer your question around NVIDIA?
Yeah. I mean, he's the best in the business, so I like a little insight from TJ. It's always good. We're lucky in this space, right? Like, I mean, especially being a part of the actual content creation side, you kind of get access to the people that have a lot of the answers to the questions, and you kind of just ask them directly, which is an
Honestly,
advantage for sure.
I think that's the biggest hidden gem that I didn't like. If somebody asked me, like, what is something that surprised you when you started the content game that you didn't expect? And it would honestly just be the community, because I didn't expect it to be so like, oh, Matt's just talking shit. I didn't expect it to be so good. But now it's like I can text Matt if I have a question. I can text TJ if I have a question. I can text, Chris Patel if I have a question. I can text all these guys. And it's just, it's great, like crowdsourcing ideas and having other people do the same with you. You just build a community around, like-minded people. And that's just, I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of this, like, this meme, this joke where one of these like tech bros was like, I have an idea, guys. We do a podcast, but we don't record it. And the comment was like, tech bro discovers hanging out. It's honestly that same thing, because I'm saying you find a community of like-minded people, and then I'm thinking, yeah, that's called friends, you idiot.
Well, I think you actually brought that up one time where you're like, Tanner, we can even like get cameras set up, just like, can we hang out or something like this? You were like, we don't have to record everything. But then I'm in your neighborhood from time to time. I text you and you don't answer. So
Yeah, That's true. Who I am online is very different than in person.
Yeah, he's a dick in person.
All right, shall we? Matt is just talking shit because Matt has invites and he didn't join. We actually had a random person join this time. I had to kick them from the studio. It wasn't Matt, but poor person who just probably had a question.
I told everyone to come in, and then you're just removing. Although let's do a live Q&A. Everyone scroll up and click that StreamYard link.
No, bro. You say a live Q&A when it's on my channel because then they join and say all this offside shit. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Amit used to do that, and now he doesn't. So
yeah, I think he's way too big to do that because, like, I think I can still swing it with an audience of my size or like myself, Roy. Like, even you are like on the edge of like 30, 40,000 subscribers. Like, you can't control who. But like for me, it's like I know I'm gonna get the same 10 people in my chat. You know, it's like I'm gonna get June in there, I'm gonna get Matt in there, I'm gonna get Sagig in there, I'm gonna get just the regulars.
I would love all those people to come in.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get to questions because we wanted to wrap at some point before the Oilers game starts because I want to put money on them. Enphase, risk of leaving the S&P 500? Absolutely, because they have to make space for Robinhood to join. Do we think they're going to leave? They're going to be kicked out next quarter, or do you think it's going to be? I mean, that would be like salt to the wound, I guess.
I think there's a pretty good chance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll take the opposite of that. I think they stay
permanent.
They'll be the smallest market cap of any company in the S&P 500 by far.
Yeah, I just think that there's names like of the companies having a much worse potential than Enphase. You know, the macro environment and incentives and everything is making Enphase not so great of a pick right now, but I don't know if they'll be the first name on the chopping block. I think there's even bigger names that are doing worse over time.
Oh yeah, Caesars for sure, but you're right. There's a number of them. What you're probably going to be right about is like, and I would hate this. I would be angry. It doesn't really matter though. Is if the S&P 500 again says, you know what, no changes, we're good. It's 2 quarters in a row, and they can do whatever they want. So,
yeah, I do think that they need to make room for Robinhood, for AppLovin. Yeah, those are very 2 big names. I think Reddit's not even on there.
Yeah, not yet. Vertiv would be good too. I mean, Vive. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Did we hear how much they paid for Zava? You answered this. What about UAL?
No thoughts on. I don't. That's United Airlines, I believe. I don't like investing in airlines at all. Like Warren Buffett doesn't. Look at his comments. I think they make good sense. Avoid that industry, I think.
Next question is definitely for Tanner because this is something that he.
Oh gosh.
Did you guys consider Adobe? The valuation is pretty good. Something it's going to have hard times in the face of AI. Did Tanner consider Adobe? I didn't even read that part. This is so up your alley. Go for it, Tanner.
No, well, I mean, I've considered Adobe, but I actually think that AI does not benefit their business. And so, no, I'm not actually really looking at Adobe heavily. No. Is that it?
That's good.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think AI is a general threat to their business.
Yep.
But was Adobe even an option in the draft?
Yep.
It was.
Yep.
Who's in Oscar? Yeah, we talked about Oscar. I'm not in Oscar because I'm in HIMS. I know people like it because they think it's going to have HIMS-like potential. I mean, Oscar has gone up like 8x since 2023. And it's even still where it is right now, it's still like under half of what it was when it first went public. So, yeah, I did a whole post video. I'm pretty sure we did a live stream on Oscar. But if there are people who want to talk to us about Oscar, we would love to have it as another stock tank. So let us know. Anybody pick up ASTS today? First day in over a week that it was not up. Yeah, see, if Matt Money was here, he could answer that question for us, but he's not. So what about you guys?
No, not into that. Not into Oscar either. Oscar is a space I don't want to get into because insurance business, I don't know that space well. and it has a lot of challenges with regulation. ASTS, it's interesting, but I don't know enough about it. I'd rather invest in Rocket Lab, frankly. I know that they're different plays, but
You know what, for real, I'm looking into is Coinbase
Really,
And
that's a change of tune
and PayPal.
because of the stablecoins thing.
Yeah, stable coins. I think that crypto regulation, crypto adoption puts them heavily in favored. And now seeing a lot of the products that they're going for on more the consumer side, like they've really over the last couple of years have been nailing down on institutionalized products and getting a lot of the what do you call it, like regulations and what's the word, like not certificate, but the ability to trade in different countries. I'm missing a word here. Anyway, a lot of that is out of the way now. They have 100 plus countries that they operate in, and now they're trying to bang out a lot of the products that customers have been asking for quite a while. And so in a very short period of time, we've seen them apply to the SEC for stock trading, blockchain based stocks, not meaning specifically crypto companies, but Apple tokenized shares, these sort of things. We're seeing a credit card from Coinbase, and I mean, they could be a very big player, and I'm very happy they're on the draft for me, and yeah, getting me pretty excited about the name. Brian Armstrong's a 10 out of 10. So,
and here's the crazy thing for me, Tanner. Like, to your point, you've seen what the Circle IPO has done. Just because people are excited about stablecoins, 50% revenue share of Circle goes to Coinbase. Like, why are people freaking investing in Circle? Now, it probably went down today, but it just, the valuation, I don't get it. I don't get the thesis there. And I'm bullish on stablecoin. If you're bullish on stablecoin, maybe PayPal, maybe Coinbase, or some other company that benefits from it.
So let me throw back Tanner's entire argument like 6 months or 12 months ago as to like why he didn't invest in, or why he thought Coinbase was a bad investment. You've made multiple videos saying basically that they have no real competitive advantage in the space, and what competitive advantage they do have right now is very weak, and it's going to be fleeting over the course of 1 to 2 years as more players develop and as more bridges essentially are formed between fiat and crypto. And in that sense, Coinbase doesn't really have any moat that's defensible. Like, how do you reconcile that with now wanting to go back in Coinbase?
I think that a crypto solo play before was not great. And I think that there were a lot of easy layups for Coinbase to have grabbed over the last 2 years that they didn't. Like, they could have gotten into regular equity plays. I mean, FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, we can call him a scam, but that doesn't mean that every single thing that he's ever done was a scam. One of the things that he did do was make quite a large stake in Robinhood, and was thinking about acquiring the entire business to potentially integrate crypto and also traditional finance products. I think that Coinbase could have gotten into a lot of those products. I think that they've been slow on some of the product lines that they've gotten into. Like Coinbase NFT was just way too slow. They could have done that 12 months earlier. OpenSea took the entire market, stuff like that. So that was a little bit lackluster. But overall, I think that traditional finance is coming to blockchain. And whenever you look at the players in that space, like you look at all the Bitcoin custodies, or even JP Morgan today, or yesterday, they came out and said, hey, we have a JP Morgan stablecoin dollar. What network is that on, Tevis?
Coinbase.
That's on Coinbase's native base L2 platform on Ethereum. So, like, I think that if there is this $22 trillion that could be potentially start to be tokenized, Circle will be a big player, sure, but Coinbase is probably a very big name in that space. And the parts that they've been trying to tackle, like payments and all of these things, are going to be some of the biggest moves over the next 12 months. On the actual trading side, I do think that they pale in comparison to Robinhood still today. But that doesn't mean that they always have to be. I mean, with the advent of them pushing out Coinbase One Basic, it kind of goes directly against Robinhood's case. And you could actually see some of the smaller retail investors actually saving more money on Robinhood than they would on Coinbase than they would on Robinhood.
Mm-hmm.
So markets are ever evolving. I mean, I'm just looking at things as they're coming in real time.
So are you going to buy it?
I don't currently have a position, but I could buy it. I mean, maybe that means a dip that ends up happening, bad news that I foresee not being as bad as I would think, or them putting out a product that I think would drastically change their financials. I'm not in a rush to buy it.
Not in a rush. Okay. Is there a price at which you would buy it?
No, not necessarily. I'm not specifically looking too hard at the valuation right now. Just more looking at the actual business and the market right now.
Here's what I think you do, though, is you wait for Crypto Winter. Crypto Winter is going to hit Robinhood for sure, but it slaughters Coinbase. And in last Crypto Winter, I didn't want to diversify away from Palantir, and it turned out to be a very good move. But Crypto Winter kills a lot of competitors. It kills the momentum. It kills the stock price. It kills a lot of things. Coinbase continues to weather Crypto Winters. It will again. As long as you believe that a crypto winter is coming at some point over the next year and a half, I mean, we may be seeing Coinbase at like $90 a share, $80 a share, something like that. So me personally, like, I think you're right, Tanner, at the current price, so and valuation, especially because they're all about crypto. There's a good bit of risk there. It doesn't mean it's not going to work out. Like, crypto winter might be actually much further away than we expect. But I think that you're right, that there is an opportunity there to get in if there's a crypto winter and it gets just slaughtered. And I think, by the way, I think crypto winter is going to be shallow. I don't think it's going to be like 18 months or 12 months. Like, it could be just like 6 months or so.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger crypto gets, the less volatile the swings are going to be, both to the upside and the downside. You're not going to see a 10x bull run like you saw back in 2016 or 2014 or whatever. But you're also not going to see it drop 90% like you saw in those same years.
Plus, like, Coinbase's revenue in the way that they make revenue has changed so much in the last few years. Like, I mean, before it was like 98% transaction fees, and now it's like closer to 50%. So there will be a lot stickier base for them than just investing in potentially Bitcoin, which I also think will be less volatile the larger it gets.
Well,
Yes.
If you like it so much, Tanner, how about you make some content about it? We have 5 minutes left in the stream. We have a lot of questions to get to, so enough of your Coinbase stuff, okay?
I'm done.
All right, Roy. Any thoughts on how Jay Powell will sound tomorrow? Dovish, hawkish? Is he going to wear a purple tie? What is he going to say?
It's just going to be the same as what he said before. Data dependent, data driven, tariffs, no cuts.
Transitory?
They're open to the ideas of cuts, transitory, all that stuff. We're not going to get anything different. The Fed, and this is actually to his credit, although I wish it wasn't this way tomorrow, I think that they should cut, has done a very good job of broadcasting what they plan to do.
So we're all thinking cut tomorrow, correct?
No cut.
No cut?
It's
Tanner?
like 99.9% chance he won't cut.
No cut.
No cut.
I'm on team. I wish he cut, but no cut.
Team wishy cut. Tanner, what's an easier short, Enph or Joby?
Ooh. I mean, I want to say Joby, but I can't go against Joby.
That's why I asked you.
But probably the answer is Joby.
Yeah, no revenue is easier than some.
At what price would you buy PayPal lower than here? I mean, the first time I bought PayPal was low 60s, so I'm okay with that price. Yeah, I'm not really looking at, like, PayPal is not top of mind right now as something that I would buy. And we talked way longer about PayPal in the beginning of this pod, so just rewind. Am I in Nebius? Also not something I'm in a rush to buy. I think, Roy, you had it for a period of time. You sold. Tanner, I don't think you're in it.
No, I'm not in Nebius, no.
And neither of you gentlemen want to buy back into Nebius?
If it goes lower again, I'll buy that again as a swing. I don't see... It looks like an okay, but it's not like... I like a concentrated portfolio. I think it could be good long-term. It's a conglomerate. Those are a challenge for me to value. It's some of the pieces type thing. What they're doing as far as data center is pretty interesting, though. So, but nah. I'd rather just have more NVIDIA. That's honestly, I took gains from it and put it in NVIDIA. So
Respect.
Andrew Dudham just made a post about tomorrow. Breaking news. Let's take a look at this together. We got to pause the questions for just a second. What launches tomorrow took many years to perfect, from the industrial design of the machines to the safety procedures delivering consistency and quality. Tomorrow's a small glimpse into the future of what we're building. What I believe is one aspect of the future of healthcare. It's one step of many towards a world where feeling great is effortless, enjoyable, and empowering. An apple a day, as they used to say. Oh, wow. This might be some gummy that's like preventative, some preventative health, because I know that they are going in this direction. That might be really interesting, actually. And here is, of course, the image. Hair blends gummies.
what? Okay, we'll see. I mean,
All
like,
right.
it's not going to be bad. Like, as they continue to add more and more products, especially some that are proprietary with them, like, that's just a good thing for HIMS and the ecosystem, especially now that they're international. So, but I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, it also, and I'm not in this space, but it definitely doesn't need to be revolutionary to be financially changing. I mean, you could see a new product, a new serum or something like this from Enph, and then that's their biggest new product, and then that's driving all their sales. So if this somehow is going to thicken women's hair and it's the next biggest thing and it works, I mean, that could be one of their top sellers as well. So I wouldn't necessarily think too much on the how life-changing it actually, or how life-saving it actually is.
Yes. That's why you're not in it, Tanner.
I'm not in it because I just I don't know the space very well.
What do you think? And Roy, I know that you have to leave. We'll wrap it up in 2 minutes. And sorry, we can't get to all the questions. Nuclear as an AI energy play for the next 5 to 10 years, very quickly.
Yeah, I think very bullish on nuclear. Regulation has changed too. There's actually some incentives. I'm sure the stocks that are involved in it are up very massively. But if you're looking at 5 to 10 years out, look for an entry, maybe DCA in. Find companies that will stand the test of time, even if regulation changes in 4 years. And I think that you're positioned well. There's such a demand for energy, and nuclear is just an easy direction to go.
Agreed.
How are we not
Anyway.
talking about the Lemonade to move up? Yeah, Lemonade is doing well. They moved back up into the 40s, and I think they just dipped under. They're my 4th largest position, so very happy about them. They are pre-profitability, so keep that in mind. But they are going to be profitable probably by the end of this year or early next. So that's going to be very exciting for them. Yeah. Are we ready for WW3?
Yeah, I have Palantir.
Roy has Palantir. Tanner, do you own any like Raytheon or something? L3 Harris?
No, I don't have really anything that benefits or takes away. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
go ahead.
on a serious note, I hope nothing happens. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Palantir might look undervalued at 140 if we're heading into some global conflict.
No, it won't. It'll look overvalued.
All right, and I think that's a perfect place to wrap it. Thank you so much, everybody. We're sorry we couldn't get to all of your questions. SoFi, I see Bitcoin questions. You know what? If you want us to answer more of those questions, then join us next week at Bootleg Weekly on Tuesdays. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next one.